this great little horse, Northern Dancer, wins him.
There, we miss Artie. Diving inside is Amise Holiday, and Lexi Lou has taken the lead. They are in the last 16th of a mile.
The horses are back at Woodbine. Welcome to episode 2 of Road to the Plate. My name's Santino De Paula. I'm joined by my co-host, Hendo VRL. The deep freeze is finally over and the horses are working in preparation for April 11th, that being opening day.
Yes, Santino, since we last taped, a lot has happened on the Road to the Plate. We've had some newcomers, some new contenders, some rising stars, and a lot of action down south.
We're going to recap that all for you. We've had horses just break their maiden by a colossal amount of lengths. We've had horses run second in Derby prep races. A lot has happened and we're going to recap that all later on in the show. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it, starting with our division leader, that being Amise Flatter, who ran in the Tampa Bay Derby this past weekend.
And Divining Rod, his game is ever toward the rail. Up on the outside, Amise Flatter. Ocean Knight has been defeated. Inside the final furlong, it's Carpe Diem in front. He'll make his 3-year-old debut, a winning one. Reporting home, 4 lengths to the good. Amise Flatter, second. Divining.
Amise Flatter gave an amazing performance to run second in the Tampa Bay Derby. He picked up 20 points on the Derby trail. How do you think he fared against Carpe Diem?
I think the horse ran really well. They were doing some changes this time around. They added blinkers, they added Lasix. The horse was off a little bit slowly, but I thought Lewis did a great job saving ground and tracking Carpe Diem the whole way around. He was just second best today, but the horse ran well.
So up next, we're going to take a look at a horse who broke his maiden by 7 lengths at Gulfstream Park, that being Unbridled Juan.
And he's starting to pull away. Unbridled Juan by 2, by 3. Wisecracker is second. Seeking Alpha's third, behind Unbridled Juan, who's running away to the wire. Unbridled Juan.
That was a truly incredible performance he gave.
Absolutely. This horse kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was watching this race, really intent on enjoying Wisecracker's run to the Derby, because I thought this was going to be a serious Derby contender.
And he just went away with it, flew him out of the water.
Lo and behold, along comes Unbridled Juan, and he just crushed him. A 7-length victory against a very good horse. Suddenly, he's at everyone's front of the mind for the Queen's Plate.
And apparently, quote that Brian Lynch says he's going towards the Queen's Plate. That's their goal. No Kentucky Derby run.
Yeah, which is great. They're going to test him next in a first allowance race. They may say no Derby run now, but if he crushes that field, all bets are off at that point.
The next horse we're going to take a look at is a Roger Atfield trainee. He's going for his 9th Queen's Plate. This horse won 1 1/8 on the turf in Danish Dynaformer.
Open here, Animal Cracker, Danish Dynaformer. On the outside, Dreaming of Gold. These 3 now. Danish Dynaformer, Dreaming of Gold. Animal Cracker on the inside, Dreaming of Gold. Dreaming of Gold. On the outside, Danish Dynaformer fights on. These 2, Danish Dynaformer.
Danish Dynaformer, he 1 1/8 on the turf. What do you think? Do you think he can pull that form over to Polytrack?
That's really the only question left to answer. We know stamina is not an issue, and we know this horse is a very high quality animal. So I would have to say that his only question to answer is whether or not he can transfer that form to synthetic. Yet again, another new face on the Road to the Plate this year.
And what did you think about the Stewart's Inquirer? Do you think he deserves to be taken down, or it was a fair run?
That's one of those hit and miss ones. Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it goes against you. Today it went in his favor, and they got the win.
The next horse we're going to take a look at is a Josie Carroll trainee. He's Decision Day. He went to the Palm Beach Grade 3 on the turf. They tried him here. Let's see how he fared.
Decision Day is sitting in second. Call Me Crazy behind them. Divisidero is fourth on the outside. Night Prowler needs to find some running room, and they're into the stretch. Decision Day is now the leader. It's Decision Day. Nutty Fuddy, Call Me Crazy coming after them. A Campari on the far outside. Down toward the rail, Felifran. Divisidero is right there too. They're coming into the final 16th. A Campari and Felifran. These 2 to the wire. A Campari.
Decision Day tried the turf this time. Personally, I think it was a better effort than it seemed. He had a little bit of trouble late in the stretch, but he was backing off late.
Yeah, we talked about this the last time. This horse had an interrupted work pattern. So I think he got a little tired late. I expect this horse to be much better next time out, whether they go back to turf or come up here and go to synthetic.
Do you think the next start, maybe they're thinking Marine Stakes?
I'm hoping they're thinking, let's get away from Florida, let's get back home and focus on a Queen's Plate run, because they've got some horse left here, and I'm expecting some good things from this one.
It's time for our first break here on Road to the Plate, and when we return, we're going to return with a top trainer in John Leblanc, who has 2 Queen's Plate horses in Phil's Cocktail and Green Doctor.
They're off in the Queen's Plate. And Woodbine roars as the Queen's Plate field arrives at the top of the stretch. On the cusp of history.
Zero wins the 155th running of the Queen's Plate.
Phil's Cocktail leads them into the stretch with a 2.5 length lead. Super Colarosa in an all-out drive. Good old hockey game on the far outside, but it is Phil's Cocktail. Phil's Cocktail to win the Frost King to a closing good old hockey game. Super Colarosa gone Green Doctor in the last 1/8 of a mile, but Green Doctor had a little left. She was in that speed duel and just kept on going. Green Doctor and Jesse Campbell to win the Farfalouche. Galena Point was second best, and Starless Night was third in 1:10.
Great. So were you surprised how they developed? Like, is that early development?
Well, the two of them, he was a handful. I stayed on him because he was the bad boy, and she was just, as it worked out, I had him hooked up with different boys, but they were either gotten sick or needed some more time. So she was the next one in line that fit into his training program, and he fit her training program at the same time. So they worked together, and as they progressed, they really bonded, and then they just kept training together.
Cool. It's nice when you can find some that match, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But during the training, she always did it easy. Phil's Cocktail, I had to work him a little bit more. I had to be a little more aggressive. I never knew actually how good they were, or none of us do anyways, until they actually crossed the finish line. And he finished second first time out. I was very, very pleased. And I knew she was nice by her class. I didn't know how good he was until he really finished second, and then I went, okay, he is nice.
I think is your, if all goes well.
Yeah, if all goes well, our first start will probably be the Queenston, and then the most logical spot after that would be the plate trial, if all goes well. He's a good workhorse. He's good to train. He really enjoys his training. He loves his partner, and the Green Doctor and he are pretty much on the same type of schedule. So all goes well, they'll be working with each other, and that's going to be our routine. The Oaks falls on the plate trial day, and that's where we're headed for her. And of course, they all have to be able to get up to that distance, and so we'll see how both of them fare getting ready for their races. What really impressed me was her class. She had ability, and then her first race was, we had a very tough post. We had post number 1. So I told the rider, I said, I don't want to get buried coming out of the gate. I don't rush her off her feet because I don't want to be in a bad situation. I said, just get her out nice and clean, try and find a nice clean path and bring her home. And she finished 5th that day. She had a nice trip, closed some nice ground, and I was very pleased with how she took the paddock in, how she behaved in post parade, and left the gate. Everything was great. So her next race was a very impressive race. We finished 2nd, and then she came back to win. And Phil's Cocktail, right from the very first go, we had the similar instructions, but he finished 2nd, and then he came back to win. So he's been very impressive.
Yeah, great to see them progress. Right?
It's nice to see them progress and come back mentally happy. And that tells you a lot on how they, how they prepare, but how they come back. And when they're not showing stress, you know you've got them prepared well, they've taken it all in well, and they're ready for their next task.
And it's Starless Night on the outside and Green Doctor on the inside. They continue to duke it out. Galena Point is advanced on the rail now. To the outside is Reserve Point. Will take on Green Doctor in the last eighth of a mile. But Green Doctor had a little left. She was in that speed duel and just kept on going. Green Doctor and Jesse Campbell to win the Farfalouche. Galena Point was second best and Starless Night was third in 1:10.
We want to thank John Leblanc for his hospitality. He showed us all around the barn, and he showed us his top contenders, Green Doctor and Phil's Cocktail. What do you think of those two?
Well, first of all, yeah, it's great that John opened up his barn to you and was able to give you a really good experience of knowing who the horses are. These are two very different horses. He has Phil's Cocktail, who leads towards stamina and should be very interesting on the road to the plate. Whereas the filly is a lot about speed. So the question is, can she harness that speed to get the distance of the Oaks?
So as he mentioned in the interview, his route is the Queenston and Plate Trial. Do you think 2 starts before the Queen's Plate is enough?
Definitely, yeah. It's a shorter season again that we always talk about. So yeah, 2 starts is definitely ideal for getting your horse into the big race.
And do you think sprinting right off the bat going 7/8 is okay for a horse like Phil's Cocktail?
Ideal, middle distance. Let him stretch his legs a bit before you go 2 turns.
So it's time for Handel's Super 10, and we're going to take a look at his recent top 10 updated this week.
Now it's time to take a look at our top 10 list, week 2 of Road to the Plate. At number 10, we've got Danish Dynaformer coming off a maiden win for Roger Atfield on the turf. This is one that we featured earlier on in our show.
Inside, Dreaming of Gold. Dreaming of Gold. On the outside, Danish Dynaformer fights on. These two, Danish Dynaformer.
At number 9, Conquest Typhoon, who's getting ready to head to the Spiral Stakes coming up this weekend. We wish them lots of luck in that one.
On the outside, Conquest Typhoon, superbly timed by Mike Smith, up to win it.
At 8, She's a Masterpiece from the Mark Cassie Brown also. And this filly hasn't worked yet this season, so we'll try to get an update on her status. At 7, the Dale Romans horse, Mist. And this horse finished second at 5.5 furlongs and has come back to breeze really well since then at Palmettos. At 6, Nipagon, who's starting to step up his campaign, now working up to half mile now at Palmettos for trainer Rachel Halton. At 5, Decision Day, also featured earlier in our program, coming out of the Palm Beach Stakes. A 7th place finish, beating just about 3.5 lengths, but this is a horse that I do like for a prime performance next time out. At 4, Danzig Mood, exiting the Tampa Bay Derby. This one finished 5th, beaten just about 6.5 lengths behind the very impressive Carpe Diem and Amise Flatter, who was 2nd. At number 3, the new buzz horse, Unbridled One, crushed a field of maidens and looked like something special, really. Posted a big 98 bar and definitely a horse that's suddenly on everyone's radar. At 2, I'm still holding firm with Conquest Cullinate. Didn't fire as well second time out in the allowance race at Oaklawn. Beaten just about 3 lengths, finishing 3rd. But I did notice that this horse was a lot closer than the maiden race where they sat back a bit more. So I think this one will bounce back quite nicely and still remains a top contender for me. And running off our top 10 and still at number 1 is Amise Flatter. Big 2nd place finish in Tampa. The one caution here is they're probably continuing a road to the Kentucky Derby, maybe through the Bluegrass, which makes this horse a little less attractive as a number 1 contender for a plate, perhaps. Hopefully, we get to see this one here in July. That's it for our top 10 list, and we look forward to some movement again next week.
They're off in the Queen's Plate. And Woodbine roars
Okay, this is Sandra. We're here with former jockey and Kentucky Derby winning trainer Art Sherman, and we're going to ask him, do you have any pre-race superstitions or rituals?
Pre-race, I don't get excited until they get into the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get in the gate, I know it's time to go and just hope my horse breaks clean and gets a good position. But before that, not really.
No lucky anything?
No,
lucky
I always
clothes
sit in the same seat in my box to make sure that's my lucky seat.
Okay.
I do that a lot.
Well, it seems to be working out well for you.
Well, we've had a few winners.
I'll say so, and continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's time for a new segment here on Road to the Plate. It's time for us to hear from you and what you think the top contenders are for the Queen's Plate. We've compiled a list of 20 fillies and colts that are pointing towards the big race, and now it's your turn to get involved. Go to the website, vote early, and vote often, and we're looking forward to seeing your choices.
It's time to wrap things up here on episode 2 of Road to the Plate. By now, people have heard that Woodbine is doing a track surface change to Tapeta in 2016, meaning that in 2015, the Queen's Plate will be run on the Poly track. What do you think about the change that Woodbine is making?
It's an exciting change. I think for us in our climate, synthetic is just going to have to be a way of life. Tapeta has done really well for Golden Gate and Presque Isle, low fatality rates and almost zero cancellations. So this is definitely a good move.
We have a couple quotes from some trainers here from Twitter. Anna, why don't you take that away?
Yeah, we've got Graham Motion weighing in on how he feels Tapeta performs, and he's one of the trainers that definitely enjoys it. We have some other comments up on our website as well for you to take a look at.
So thanks for watching episode 2 of Road to the Plate. My name's Santino De Paula.
And I'm Handel Viorel.
And thanks for watching.